There's always this crazy talk when it comes to Jordan's opponents in the finals. We got to the point where now we're lessening Jordan's opponents in the finals, acting like they was trash. The teams they played against was trash compared to the competition that LeBron faced during his finals run. It's crazy. My subscriber sent me this last week, right? And some of the stuff you can find on Basketball Reference, but he put it nicely packaged for me. I easily understand it, but he actually put it down there for the Lestans to easily follow. But we know Lestans don't like reading and doing research. But anyways, we're going to do it anyway. So, first of all, we look at MJ versus LeBron's finals competition, breaking it down to everything. So, first one we can go with is the 2014 Spurs. 2014 Spurs, San Antonio Spurs. Some people consider that one of the, I wouldn't say greatest team, but probably one of the best Spurs teams that won a championship. Their record was 60-62. They finished first in the NBA Southwest Division. I think they was first seed in the West as well. Of course, Greg Popovich was their coach. Points per game, 105.44 in the league. No, 6th in the lead. I read that wrong. 6th in the lead in points per game. And opponents' points, 97.66 in the lead. And they had the 10th fastest pace in the league. Their offensive rating was 7th, 110.5. And they had the 3rd ranked defense in the league at 102.4 points allowed, with a net rating plus 8.1. Now you compare that to the Sonics, 1996 Seattle Supersonics. Their record was 64-18. They finished first in Pacific Division, and I think they was the number 1 seed that year, coached by George Karl. 104.5 points per game, 2nd in the league. Opponents' points, 96.7, 8th in the league. Now, they had the fastest pace as well, 93.8. Third fastest pace. Their offensive rating was 8th, 110.3. Defensive rating, they was the second best team defensively at 102.1. Their net rating, plus 8.2. Slightly better than the Spurs, so all their statistics as a team was slightly better than the Spurs. And they lost 6 games to the Chicago Bulls. Now, everybody always talks about the Golden State Warriors and KD's done, right? They always talk about that team. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, like this video as well as I continue on. But you look at the Golden State Warriors of 2018. 113.5, first in the league. 107.5 opponents' points, 18th in the league. Now, offensively, they was good, but I do recall them defensively being not as good as previous years. Their offensive rating was 3rd in the league that year, 103.6, and defensive rating was 11th that year, 107.6. Net rating plus 6, 3rd in the league. That's the 2018 Warriors. Now, if you look at the 1993 Phoenix Suns, 62-20. Points per game, 113.4. First. They was first out of 27 teams. You gotta keep that in mind too. This is before the Raptors and Grizzlies came around. And of course now, Bobcats now, what are they? Not Bobcats, but it's so confusing how they did that. But Pelicans. Pelicans. But anyways, first in the league in points per game, 18th in the league opponents' points per game. But he had one of the fastest paces. Offensive rating, first in the league, 113.3. Defensive rating, ninth in the league. Net rating, +6. Keep in mind, Jordan averaged 41 points a game. Suns were a better team, statistically. Look at the 2011 Mavericks. Finished 57-25. I think they was third overall seed in the West. Opponents' points 110.2, 11th in the league. Opponents' points 96 even, 10th in the league. Offensive rating 109.7, 8th. Yeah, I do recall this because I think I made a video about this. So they was 8th offensive rating and 8th defensive rating as well. Their net rating was a +4.6, 8th in the league. So everything was in an 8th spot. You look at the 91 Lakers, the team they say had nothing on there for some reason. I don't know why they keep saying that team wasn't great. I don't get it. But the 91 Lakers, 58-24. Points per game, 106.3, 13th in the league. Opponents' points, 99.6. So many points they allowed for their opponent. You look at the offensive rating, 112.1, 5th in the league. Defensive rating that year, 105 even, 5th in the league. Net rating, +7.1, 3rd overall in the league. Slightly better than his 2011 Mavericks. I believe Jordan played those Mavericks probably. They would have a tough time trying to hold him. But Dirk wouldn't have been a problem, but still. Lakers had magic. And still, LeBron choked and became nothing. Like I talked about in the previous video, he scored 17.8 points. That's how much he averaged in that series. All right, let's keep going on. 2007 Spurs, 58-24. I think it was a second seed that year. Yeah, I think they was the second seed. The first seed could have been, they had a second or third seed, but the first seed could have been the Dallas Mavericks that year. The Dallas Mavericks team that lost to the Golden State Warriors. All points per game, 98.5. They was 14th. 90 opponents' points, 90. First in the league. Offensive rating, 109.2. 5th in the league. Defensive rating, 99.9. Second in the league. Yeah, the San Antonio Spurs that won the championship that year, their defense was pretty good. That's why LeBron couldn't do what he could do against the Detroit Pistons in the previous series in the Eastern Conference Finals. Plus, that same Detroit Pistons team wasn't the same Detroit Pistons team that even the San Antonio Spurs faced 2 years before, or the same team that won it all the year before that one. But anyways, offensive rating, 109. Well, I already said that. Sorry. The net rating was +9.3. Look at the 92 Trailblazers, 57-25. Points per game, 111.4, 4th in the league. Opponents' points per game, 104.1, 12th in the league. Pace is 99. I forgot to say the pace. Pace for the Spurs was 89.8 for the 2007 Spurs. They was a slow trotting team. They played a half court game, and I think that was the team. It was one of the teams that was pass first, keep passing before they find a good shot. I saw slowly was on the pace. Definitely the definition of playing a half court game, and also slowing your opponent down too as well, making them play your pace. But anyways, offensive rating 114. No, Trailblazers offensive rating was 111.4. They were seventh in the league. Defensive rating third, 104.2 overall in the league. Net rating plus 7.3. LeBron was shooting was terrible. Like I said in the previous video, LeBron's shooting was terrible in that time. And from the free, I think he averaged, I think it was like 69% from the free throw line in that series as well. And you look at 97 and 98 Utah Jazz. I think they was overall number one seed that year in the NBA at 64-18. Coached by Jerry Sloan, of course. Points per game 103.1, second in the league. Opponents' points per game 94.3, eighth in the league. Pace 90 even, 17th in the league. Offensive rating 113.6, second. Defensive rating 104 even, ninth in the league. Net rating 9.7, second in the league. And you look at the 98 team, similar numbers. They finished 62 and 620, and I think they was also the number one overall seed that year too. Let me see something right quick. Make sure Utah. Yes, I was right. It was number one seed for both of those years. So they were 62 and 20 in 98, 97, 98 season. 101 even, third overall in the league, points per game. Opponents' points per game 94.4, 13th. Offensive rating 112.7. They was first in overall rating. Defensive rating, they dropped big time. 105.4, 17th out of 29 teams, but they had a net rating of plus 7.3, which was fourth in the league. It's crazy. You look at the Miami Heat of the 2020. 44 and 29. Keep in mind this is a bubble season. Points per game 112 even, 15th in the league. Opponents' points 109.1. 98.3. That's their pace because they like to slow down the game. 27th out of 30. Now they had an offensive rating 112.5, 7th in the league. Defensive rating 109.5, 11 in the league. Net rating 3 even, 7th in the league. It's funny that Miami Heat team, when they played my Milwaukee Bucks were like, I think top 5 in defense and offense, and can just completely struggle with this team. You can't tell me that the Utah Jazz are not better than the Miami Heat. If you put the 97 and 98 Utah Jazz against the 2020 bubble team, Miami bubble team, I think that Utah Jazz is sweeping both. That pick and roll will probably be too much. And I think Karl Malone will be way too much for Bam Adebayo. And overall, as a defense, they probably put hands on Jimmy Butler. So, reason why I'm silent because it's no comparison. Jordan's competition statistically, and I also think that they was play LeBron's competition, they will give LeBron's competition work. Even though I think some of those San Antonio Spurs teams were not inspirations, but well, model after some of those Utah, I wouldn't say Utah, but some of those older teams from the 90s, the way to play the ball. But we ain't gonna sit here, as in conclusion, we're not gonna sit here and act like Jordan's teams, the teams that he played in his competition, were just trash. Act like he didn't play no one when he did. They say they're even fixing their mouth, and I blame Gilbert Arenas for this. And Ticket TV can say, "Oh, he's just trolling. He's just trolling." All right, fine. You say he's trolling, but like I said, there's impressionable kids that think he's telling the truth, and they will run with it. They will absolutely run with it and go to our channels and spew out the garbage that he's saying. And that's why I said, when does trolling stop being trolling? With a point when he's actually not trolling. He's actually thinking in his head he's telling the truth, spewing this garbage out. And now we got a worse problem trying to combat all this goofiness. All 6 finals Jordan played Hall of Famers and top 50 or top 75 opponents. Just because some of these guys, his opponents, just to say, didn't come in with stacked teams, clicking up to play with each other against Jordan, doesn't mean it was trash. And they didn't believe that. I mean, maybe the Houston Rockets, the late 90s did. Charles Barkley and Hakeem and Clyde and Scotty. You know, I think Scotty and Clyde. No, I don't think they played with each other, but still, they tried it and it didn't work. They didn't get anywhere with that. But these were some great teams that played Jordan. They were decent teams. Talk about he didn't play on. Charles Barkley was an MVP. Magic wasn't that far away from being in the MVP conversation in 91. Clyde was always in the mix. Drexler, I mean. Now, because of the Seattle Supersonics, they was great, but they was great enough to get to the finals and be a finals-worthy team as well. We all know about the Utah Jazz with the dynamic duo between Malone and Stockton. I don't know if Jimmy Butler gets to Hall of Fame. Who knows? We already know Dirk and Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. All of them will be in the Hall of Fame. They're already in the Hall of Fame. Jason Kidd as well. Who's the other opponent? We definitely know freaking Steph and we already know Steph and KD are getting in there. But